An advisor close to Ukraine's leader says Pope Francis should not be involved in trying to end the conflict, adding that the Holy Father is, quote, pro-Russian. In an interview on TV in Ukraine, the senior advisor also said that he thinks the Vatican is not credible on the topic, adding that he thinks Russia has investments in the Holy See Bank. Joining us now from Rome is Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Andreas, great to see you. So why is Pope Francis accused of taking a pro-Russian stance?
So, Tracy, Pope Francis has always been an ally to the people in Ukraine. Last week, we spoke about the Synod of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, which is being currently held here in Rome, with more than 40 bishops who are in communion with the Holy See. And during their meeting last week with Pope Francis, they also addressed this very issue. And you're aware of the background, of course, because at the end of August, Pope Francis sent a message to Russian youth who were not able to attend World Youth Day in Lisbon because of the war. There he mentioned Tsar Peter the Great and Empress Catherine the Great as historical Russian figures for the young to aspire to. Later, on his flight back from Mongolia, Pope Francis clarified that he only was speaking of the great Russian culture and not of imperialist aspirations. That was one of the allegations the Holy Father had to face after his address of the young Russian Catholics.
And Andreas, I understand now President Zelensky's advisor has not only called him, quote, a pro-Russian pope, but also says that the Vatican shouldn't even be involved in peace efforts?
Yes, so Mr. Podolyak, this is the name of the presidential advisor, said in an interview on Friday that Pope Francis would be too favorable towards Russia in order to be taken seriously to play a mediating role in the Russian war against Ukraine. But he didn't stop there. He also suggested that the so-called pro-Russian stance would possibly be coming from payments the Vatican Bank, IOR, would be receiving from Russia. In a communique that was issued Saturday, just this Saturday, the bank, of course, rejected these allegations and clarified that no such payments were received or that Russian money would be under management by the Vatican Bank. In fact, this would be impossible even by regulation standards. All of this just shows how difficult the balancing act of the Holy See really is when it comes to brokering peace talks between Russia and Ukraine, because there are many different agendas regarding this topic, and so far, only Hungary and the Vatican have come out as countries calling for an immediate ceasefire regardless of national borders. Pope Francis has tried to make it clear to both sides that he is primarily interested in peace. But not all political players like that message, at least so it seems.
And Andreas, I also understand that the Holy Father addressed this yesterday. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so at the traditional Angelus prayer on St. Peter's Square, he was addressing exactly this when he also invited everybody and was praying himself for those suffering in Ukraine. He also mentioned the example of the Ulma family, which was beatified in Poland just yesterday. The parents and 7 children of that family were martyred by the Nazis in 1944 because they were hiding Jewish refugees in their home. Pope Francis said they would show us how to use acts of charity to counter violence. But the family also used prayer in a special way, he said. And he said, let us intensify our prayers for those tormented in Ukraine.
Andreas, thank you so much for that report. We appreciate it. Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Thank you again.